What's going on today, guys? Dave on here, Discipleship Ministries. Today we're going to be talking about focus and focusing on the enemy versus focusing on God. So the enemy wants you to focus on fear, right? Let's put that over there. And God wants you to focus on Him. Let's put that over there. So now I just want to say something before I get down to breaking down some things. The reason the enemy wants you to focus on fear is because when you believe that God can't save you, the enemy needs to do nothing else. Nothing else. See, he who sinneth is a slave to sin. So if the enemy can take away your thought that God is capable of freeing you, of saving you, of providing for you, then all you have left is to be a slave to sin. So it's something to think about. So now focus, right? If you focus on God, you're focusing on your purpose, you're receiving deep insights, you're focusing on true joy, and you're focusing on God's glory. And all of these things change your life. You only have 24 hours, and like 8 or 9 of them, you're going to be asleep, right? If you're like me anyway. So with the rest of those hours, you have to, make choices. And so refer to The Power of the Believer. That's all about choice. One of the first articles that came out. So with the rest of those times, if you're focusing on your purpose, you're fulfilled. You're receiving wisdoms and deep insights from God. You're inhabiting a sense of true joy because you're fulfilling your purpose and you're focusing on God's glory. Now, the other side of things, right? If you're focusing on the enemy, okay? If you're focusing on the enemy, you're focusing on fleshy desire. See, the enemy can tempt you. That's about it. But then the flesh is what desires. You see, the man defiled himself by what cometh out of his heart, right? And out of the heart cometh things like envyings, lust, revelings, hatred, variance, emulations. Look in Galatians chapter 6. You'll see all of that in there, right? So the fruit of that's the fruit of the flesh, the works of the flesh. Those are the works of the flesh. So you get corrupted logic, right? If you're focusing on the enemy, he's tempting you and he's lying to you and he's changing the way that you think, right? By allowing you to focus on something that doesn't make sense. Okay? If I'm telling you no you can't, and that's how I present everything to you, no you can't do that, no you can't do that. You live in a world of can't. But if you focus on God, you live in a world of can't. I can do that. I can do this. It's a freedom, right? The enemy doesn't provide you freedom. He provides you a cage. And the cage is sin. Sin and death. So now you focus on fear and you focus on personal opinion. Now the truth is, people like feelings. I don't like feelings. Why? Because they corrupt your thinking. You see, if you feel like, oh, I need to be sensitive, then you won't sit here and say what's important and you won't say the truth because people's feelings get in the way. So personal opinion, by focusing on your personal opinion, you're not focused on right and wrong. You're focusing on how you feel about right and wrong. Right and wrong is it's a fact. Okay, personal opinion is up to what you know. And if you're focusing on the flesh, then you already have a corrupted logic. So what you know isn't really stable. So really, remember this. Focus on God, not the enemy. Okay? Purpose, deep insights, true joy, God's glory. Those are the things that you want in your life. You don't want to be worried about fleshly desire. You don't want to be, sitting here not making sense to yourself. You don't want to be inhabited by fear. You don't want to be surrounded by your personal opinion. You want to be surrounded by God's glory.